All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm going to be doing what I've been doing with the wheat sector, right? So I'm going to start with just some general discussions and then we'll get into the technicals, all right? So there's going to be two main things I discuss, okay? So I've been talking about this May 9th, May 10th date. There was a really good comment in the YouTube comments, obviously, on the last video about what it was. And again, I'll break it out. I also got what looks like a relatively impartial article about this, okay? And again, to me, I think that's really important. We'll talk about that shortly. The other thing I do want to talk about is the overall markets, okay? You always hear me say great things happen when we're in a good market and horrible things happen when we're in a bad market, all right? We've been in a bad market and I think we still are, but I posted this yesterday. Though we've been coming down, we came close enough. We're actually on our resistance on the SPY. It seemed like we might do a little bit of a recovery. It seemed like we did, obviously, and I don't think it's going to hold, right? So this is going to be the theory of how I think the market plays out. You can see that was my thoughts yesterday. I posted that on a couple places, but overall those will be the general thoughts, and then we'll look at the technicals. A lot of really big things happened today, especially on CGC, ACB, and SNDL. So excited to talk about those, but I'm not 1,000% on what to think, and I think I'm really excited to see who disagrees with me here and what your reasoning is, right? I always say disagree with me is a good thing, and it leads to better thoughts and opinions, right? So before we go any further, though, and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time, oh my gosh, I am so grateful for it, all right? So normally I take us to the fireplace right now, but we're still going to use the charts, and like I said, I have an article to pull up, right? So the first thing I want to do is talk about what seems like the next most important day coming up, okay? So May 10th, someone said May 9th. I'm not sure if it's the 9th or the 10th, all right? But there is, and you know what? Let me actually flash the comment because this was a really good comment. I posted this a couple places. So this came from midnight and then like 4 random numbers, but I'm not here pretending I said that this well, all right, because I would not have been able to. There's a theory that maybe safe banking is added to this cryptocurrency bill, and all that needs to happen by May 9th, okay? That's essentially at least confirmed by Barron's, that there is a potential for both, and it needs to happen by the 10th, basically the 9th, as the comment said, right? So I'll post this in the comments. Look, I will be honest with you, I did not read this entire thing. I think a lot of this is a little bit more neutral than it seemed, really like pro rah, but again, I didn't really read this. It's not even that long, right? But what I really liked about this, all right, 2 things. It was recent, all right, and number 2, look, Barron's is a what I would call a neutral party in this, right? I think most of the like pro dates, like I remember when a lot of people were talking about the Canadian tax reform, it's not like they were referencing, you know, these major Canadian publications. It was a lot of really pro one-sided weed news publications and publishings, right? And that's not what I want to see. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see something. I'm seeing Wall Street Journal looks like they maybe own this or are connected to it. Again, these are what I'm calling impartial, right? I don't know if they're liberal. I don't know if they're conservative. I don't care. They're not 100% pro-weed, and that's good, right? You want to see both sides of the argument, and believe me, if only pro-weed publishings are covering one side of the story, oh yeah, you gotta believe the other side's literally not covering it because they don't even believe, right? But there were a couple other publications that were not pro weed. Barron's was the first, quickest, biggest name that I saw. But again, to me, it's less about do they think yes or no, and it's more about are both sides covering the same opinions. Okay, so this is in play to me. Okay, do I believe something's gonna happen? I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, again, I don't follow politics much. I don't know what the Senate House looks like in terms of who's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know these things, right? But I think this is enough coverage for me to believe, hey, this is a real maybe. Okay, so we'll just leave it at that with this. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let me know if you know anything more. But the next must pass law is about cryptos and cannabis, right? And clearly half of that matters a lot to these shareholders right here, right? So it's good that they're saying the same things that you know the YouTube thoughts are, right? From there, I want to move to the S&P 500, okay? SPY is the ETF, all right? Look at how the chart looks right here. You can see it looks exactly like SP 500 itself, right? Look at that. It's just literally instead of 5,000 numbers, it's 500 numbers, okay? So yesterday, I drew this line before, believe me when I say that, right? You know I'm not here lying and pretending. But yesterday, I made a comment that I thought because we hit the line, because really it looked like we bounced off the 100 even though we didn't really hit it. It looked like there was room to go, and a lot of it was driven by the RSI, okay? Before I talk about the immediate, I'm zooming out just a little bit, okay? Where was it? It was this. So, back in July of 23, okay? We find ourselves dropping. We find ourselves, and before that moment, it was a beautiful ride up. Okay, this was an even longer ride up. So that end of July, we start to fall. We lose the 8, we lose the 20, we lose the 50. We don't quite come to the 100, but we make a nice bounce that ultimately fails. Okay. Excuse me, my, you know what? Let me pause this, drink some water, and I'm going to come back. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, with that in mind, that made me believe, look, we did the same bounce, right, just above the 100. Now, granted, two things. We came closer to the 100 than we did last time. And again, we went longer this time above the 8 and the 20, right? So we come closer to the 100, but we do the same thing. I'm not 1,000% sure we're getting over these two lines. And again, you can see when I drew it, I didn't think so either, okay? The other thing that happened, so let's take a look at the RSI down here. Again, we're talking about the S&P 500. Okay, let me do the other way of it. You get really hot, you need to cool off just a little bit so that you can keep going hot and staying hot, right? We're now doing the opposite. We need to cool up so that we can keep going down, right? I hope that made sense to you. This RSI got really low. It got to a 23. We needed to come back up to a 50, cool up before it goes back down. I'm seeing the 8 go down. I'm seeing the 20 go down. I feel like the 50 is ready to go down. I am happy that we got today's candle. This was a beautiful candle, all right? I am. I'm believing that red is going to go green, just like it does in the weed stocks, and we love and we chase those, right? I think we're coming to that like 510, maybe 511 range, all right? I don't know if we're breaking these two lines. And if we continue down, the good that we're going to see isn't going to hold. Okay, so that's what I'm watching. Listen, there were some great gains on a number of the stocks I'm about to review. It really looks like tomorrow might want to follow through for a couple of the good gains that we saw today, right? I would be very, very hesitant as we come into Thursday and Friday, okay? Hey, if we can break 513, I think 513 is a good number. Let's even say 514 maybe. Yeah, 513, that's okay. Oh, a lot of my tone and my confidence is going to quickly change. But for now, I am nothing more than and then cautiously optimistic. I think that's the best way to describe this, okay? Again, you'll see when I look at the Dow Jones, the DJ30, we're looking at the same bounce. This actually went under the 100, right? But lo and behold, it recovered. Lo and behold, we still have a 2MA cluster right here, the 20 and the 50, right? So I still think this is going to want to go up. I'm not too sure that we're going to get over both lines, right? If we do, my tone will change, okay? So that is really what's driving a lot of the technical thoughts that I'm going to come next with, okay? So May 10th, hey, that's a maybe, and I'm glad people are talking about it. Technically, the markets look like we're in a recovery, but I'm still believing the downtrend holds. If that does, I keep saying it's hard to trade, right? So let me know if you agree or disagree with any of it. Otherwise, I think 11:15 is a good place to transition. Let's talk TLRY technicals, all right? So really quickly, please, if you can subscribe, if you can share this video, oh, it does wonders with the algorithms, all right? So today was a good day. That is a very, very easy thing to say. At the baseline, I am so glad we're back up near this 180-ish number instead of worrying about 160. And again, I haven't really mentioned it, but it's hard not to. That all-time low line isn't that far away from that 160, right? So good place to get a little bit of recovery. There are a lot of moving averages right above us, okay? And there's two ways to think about this, okay? The first way, and I would say this is the most positive way to think about it, okay? I often say if you have 3 lines, let alone 4 lines that are this close to each other, I call that a tornado. I call it a moving average horizontal cluster. And it's this tornado that just throws you up and down, okay? Maybe getting caught in these 4 lines can kind of help the tornado throw it up a little quicker, all right? I don't know if that's what I'm going to believe and buy, but that is a theory, okay? What I see technically, look, these 2 lines right here are going to be hard. All right, the 50 and the 100. Getting over 198, 199, let's just call it 2, that's going to be difficult, all right? If we get over 2, maybe there's a shot at 208. I don't think it goes much above 210, all right? But, hey, going from 180 something to 210 actually is a pretty good trade, right? I just don't like how many lines there are here. And really, look, I don't know if you're going to just watch this or not, but CGC's looking a little prettier over all the lines, right? ACB's looking a little prettier over all the lines, right? SNDL, big candles, still over all the lines, right? So to me, TLRY is not the prettiest technical here either, right? Volume's also not quite there. Okay, volume's still under the 50-day line, right? You know I need it to be at or over. So I still see the red days being able to get there. It's these little recovery days that there's not much buying on, and that's actually kind of a sad thing, right? So I think a lot of people see these lines. I don't think that they're thinking, oh, let's tornado right up. I think they're seeing really hard 2 lines, really hard single line, and this 8 made a really drastic drop down. I think this is about to start making its descent down essentially as well, right? So that's just my, I don't know the math behind these lines. I don't pretend to be that smart, but TLRY, I think we're still coming off the earnings. I think the not having the Canadian tax reform happen was really bad, right? Again, I didn't have a lot of weight into it. I didn't, but I've said it before and I'll say it again and I'll continue. The rules are not set up for these companies to win. Okay, there is no free market for this sector. All right, there is a very restricted market, and it doesn't help the companies, it doesn't help the consumers. It's sad. It is, right? But it is just the realities of life. And one day, I do believe that rules are going to change. I think once we start to see the rule changes, other things will domino behind that, right? But for now, we're here living the realities, right? We don't complain about them. We don't blame manipulation and this and that. No, no, no. We trade the realities that we see until we see something different, right? So let's see what this May 10th does. Let's see what this market recovery looks like. But yeah, I think there's better places to look at TLRY. This is an interesting weekly because I think, look, the weekly is actually saying it's a lot smoother up to $2. All right. This is saying, look, there's going to be a little something at 194, then 198. Maybe we just kind of wick $2 real quick. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to break these. And yeah, again, if we do, it's going to be maybe a 210 cap. And yeah, this weekly makes it look like just getting over 203 is going to be very, 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 very difficult given the three lines right there, right? So TLRY, decent. I'm going to call this market recovery, all right? And again, I think there are better charts setting up in the sector right now, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's take a look at the next group of stocks, CGC. Lovely, all right? Jeez. ACB, lovely. Look at that, jeez. Even SNDL, lovely. Jeez, right? Like this is for sure good. As happy as I am to see all three of these with monster candles, let alone double-digit gains, right? I'll talk about all of those specifically shortly, right? I am cautiously optimistic unless I see a bigger move on this confirmation, all right? That's going to be the echoing theme. We really need a big confirmation, all right? So very, very quickly, please, if you can subscribe, if you can share, it does wonders with these algorithms, all right? Listen, I don't know if you fast forwarded or not. I'm just really quickly, I'm going to flash this, okay? So I posted this yesterday. I thought that the SPY was going to make a good little recovery, not really do much more than that, and then ultimately come back down, okay? I mentioned that in the beginning of the video. Not sure if you fast forwarded or not. I am glad that the weed stocks reacted so well to just this little bit of good market. All right. So what do I mean by that? Okay. Listen, look, I don't do a lot of long-term videos. All right. My ability really is daily and weekly short-term thoughts. Okay. I made a video in the beginning of the year before January 1st. I thought that this was going to be a very important election year. Obviously, that Kamala Harris thing did amazing things. The Germany thing did amazing things. There were good moments. All of a sudden, two really bad moments, really both kind of driven by TLRY. The January earnings and then the most recent earnings really shook things up kind of drastically and almost for no reason, right? I talked about, sorry, I zoomed too much. On the first TLRY earnings, it was right here on the 9th. This held really well. It eventually falls, right? So far, we're actually holding pretty well since the last TLRY earnings, right? Again, let's take a look at the chart. TLRY, hard drop on the 9th, not so good from there, right? CGC gets a little ugly since the 9th. I don't think anyone's pretending that didn't happen, right? Green, 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 red, red, red. Hey, lo and behold, so far, green, green, green again, okay? Now, I am for sure excited that we're over both the 8 and the 20. I am for sure happy to see that we are above all 5 moving averages. Excuse me, sorry. I am just a little bit concerned right here because I don't know if the markets are going to do this, if we're going up and then it's going to come back down. Because again, to me, I believe this really was good market driven. Maybe I am wrong. I'm never here pretending I am right, even remotely most of the time, right? So believe me, feel free to disagree, right? But I'm seeing a market recovery. I'm seeing these stocks react really well. I'm not too sure there's going to be much more if the markets fail. Okay, so I think it's very, very, very important to look at the S&P 500. I think it's very, very important to look at the Dow Jones. This has, you can see the red and the orange, the 50 and the 20 that it needs to get over. You can see this has the red and the orange, the 50 and the 20 that it needs to get over. If they both do it and do it well, oh man, CGC is going to continue. ACB is going to continue. All right. SNDL, it's going to continue. Ooh, get out of here. No, that's SND. That's not what I was like. I swear SNDL looked way prettier, and it did. Look, we are over all 5 on all of them. But all 3 need to confirm. This is the first candle back over it, right? ACB, I'm going to go backwards this time. This is the first good candle over all of it, right? CGC, this is the first candle over all of it, right? So we need to confirm. We can easily drop back to the next moving average, right? Respectfully on all of them, right? But we needed to confirm and go up. And then not only do we need it to confirm, we need the indices to do the job as well. Believe me when I say it, on most times I would be zooming out. I would be talking about 1311 here. ACB, I would be zooming out. I would be talking about 10 here. SNDL, I would be zooming out. I'd be talking about 245 probably. I don't know, maybe even 280. Like, look, you know I normally would do that, right? I really need to respect the markets. I'm not here saying I know for sure we're breaking these. Hey, if we do, oh yeah, I'm going to be excited. I'm going to say, let's go, let's go. I am ready to hit eject at a moment's notice if it looks shady. Because again, this is kind of what I'm assuming. Get close, reject. Raise the RSI, reject. And essentially mirror this what, August moment. And I don't know, I also don't know this. Again, I think the steeper rise and the sharper drop kind of actually makes me think this is almost not going to happen. We're going to go up, we're going to go down, and we're going to come to this. I do not believe we're going to lose the 200 moving average, all right? I actually even think this let's not talk about below the 100 just yet. There's no point to them. This is a weed video, right? But make sure you watch these. Make sure you understand recovery versus, you know, change in trend. That's my 2 cents, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. I'll cover the rest later. This just went a little longer than I expected. Thank you so much.